I've experienced other interfaces.
Facts.
And
not you changing the energy.
No, I
See?
ain't changing no energy.
I was just bagging you up.
It's still standing on it. But I'm just saying.
Red mud.
Like,
All right. Let me see right quick.
I'm gonna repost.
Let's go live. Okay, let's see what we doing here.
that comment is killing me.
Let's see what we doing there. What up, y'all?
That is crazy. That's why it's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep my phone in my hand just to watch what he say.
Okay.
He gonna be like,
All right. I think we live. We back.
We back.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us again.
We are back.
Why is it still pinned?
Yeah.
it's still paying?
Yeah.
Something went wrong. Please try again. Oh, that's how y'all feeling?
Yeah.
Y'all.
Well, it wasn't a Focusrite that we're using right now.
That ain't got nothing.
Like you to go.
And we had some technical difficulties, but I think we're okay. Let's see what happens.
Shout out to Focusrite.
Yeah.
What's going on?
And what's weird?
They be acting like they forgot where they came
But
from.
niggas came up, and so I would.
Hey!
But no, I'm not gonna say if somebody gets a Focusrite as their first interface, like
You started off decent.
I'm like, bro, do what you gotta do, like learn how to record vocals or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna say like, yo,
Breeze, what up?
this the session. You know what I mean? Like
Awesome, Michael, what up?
this. You know what I'm saying? If you can get better, if you can do better, be better.
Shout out to the native plugins from UAD.
That's all I'm saying. But the thing that's weird about this Focusrite, it's not even what we talk about. But nobody who be riding for Focusrite ever mentioned like the Claret, like they Thunderbolt interfaces, whatever. It's like everybody just gets stuck on just like the 2i.
No,
like
no.
the bottom
18
the
I
bottom
20
that they have to offer.
No, 18 I 20. 18 I 20. I can say is a workhorse. It can do a lot.
Yeah.
It can literally take you from 8 to 32 channels in a good minute.
How come nobody mentions the Claret?
Because it's an add-on.
What? It's a whole other line.
I'm saying like you can use it as an add. I would say the Claret is more so like it's higher preamps for sure.
I'm saying that's like.
Hey, yo, real quick, I just want to let the audience know, because we're going to let this play out. I want to let the audience know. We mentioned like 13 topics, and none of them was interfaces.
Yeah.
Y'all just came for the team.
You gotta defend. You know, I get.
LJ started it.
LJ brought this up.
I'm just saying.
The man with the idea said
You know what I'm
something about
saying?
it.
By the way, this my man. He riding for Focusrite. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Let's
just saying,
discuss.
it's a rare, occasion. It's rare that we're gonna have anyone else that's actually dope.
So the
That rocks
topics
with the
of today,
We can get to the topics. I did my defending.
Yeah, man. Since niggas, he defended his Focusrite. So is the GOAT really the GOAT, man? Is that your GOAT?
I mean,
All right, next.
it's not the producer, it's the tools. It's the tools that you use and how you work
So
them.
we got that. Is the GOAT really the GOAT? Do people. All right, don't even do it. Get it.
All right. On to the topic.
What's on your mix bus? On some nerd, the engineer side. I feel like we don't really dive deep in that world. But yeah, what's on your mix bus? We'll jump into that, and we're gonna get more into performing producers. What does that look like?
Yeah.
All of those. Yeah, where are we starting, man? Where are we starting?
Real quick, big shout out everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? Chiming in. Please chime in. If you're going to view, that's great. We always
please.
love you if you view. But if you chime in, just say what up. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to call us stupid. Whatever, man. Just
free to
engage.
stand
you know
up
what I'm
for
Feel free to call us
Focusrite.
smart.
saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to be educated.
By the way, everything you say will have consequences. But
But you never know. We might.
That's the disclaimer.
You might be on the next episode. You never know.
absolute. You know what I'm
But
saying?
yeah, man. On some.
You will pay for everything you say.
It costs. It's a tax.
What are y'all? What's on the mix bus, man? Are y'all mixing into anything? So I bring this up because, like, along my journey, I was always told, like, don't put anything on the mix bus. You leave that process alone for the mastering, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like the game has changed a lot. I seen a video where Tizio was breaking down what's on his mix bus, and bro had like 8 to 9 plugins, and they wasn't just like some light. They was pretty heavy duty stuff. So I'm just wondering, like, how do y'all feel about that? Like, now, like, do y'all feel you should leave that up to mastering? Like, do we need mastering now? Like, What's y'all thoughts behind
Mastering is definitely still needed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Kid, you got some on yours?
Yeah, man, it's a lot in my mind around this. So I feel like when I was learning about mixing, it was from the perspective of the traditional view of a mixer, meaning like anything revolving around mixing, like it damn near. Like the producer damn near does nothing. Like shit is raw as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And you need to pause, I guess.
Sorry.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Help it.
All right.
And then y'all just and then the mixer has to like totally build out this situation. Not including that's the nuances the recording engineer is inserted in that. But like the mixing engineer, like everything is basically from a blank slate. Right? And mixing and mastering were very separate. I never said mixing and mastering together like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was that, and it was from a very non. I don't want to say DIY, but just the idea, like the mentality wasn't that like a beat maker was gonna send you like stems. It was like a band was gonna give you the session of you know what I'm saying?
You gotta make something happen with it.
So I feel like from that perspective, like just these just very clean cut rules, like just don't do anything on the mix bus, only subtractive EQ. And I'm not saying any of those are bad things to do or not effective mindsets to have when mixing, but it was just very like all those stereotypes are just very by the book. What I learned. Right. And then I started to like listen to guys like specifically Alex Toomey. When I started to listen to how he was operating in the industry at the level that he was operating at, I started to hear stuff like, you know, the producers would send the drums like as a 2-track because they did a very specific thing to the drums and they didn't want that change. And so that's what you got. And then I would hear like about their templates and they started to have stuff in their mix bus because their process was, the stuff was happening so fast that like, not only did you get into a rhythm, right? Not only did having things on your mix bus expedite the process of getting to the desired result faster, but also, like, in the same situation, these guys were talking about, like, this is a very specific thing that me and this artist built. I don't want to deconstruct it to send to somebody else to try to put the pieces back together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so that was sort of my introduction of this idea that like, oh, it is okay to kind of commit, right? And then if it can go another level, it's from that place, not
from somewhere.
Not for me to destruct what I have in mind, what I'm capable of doing, what my creativity leads me to do, for the rule that somebody else is supposed to do that just because that's the rule. You know what I mean? So I personally, like over the last probably four years, have really started to be like, nah, I'm good with mixed bus. Now it does make things like a little bit more like complicated when you are sending stems out, right? I think that just from the technical side of things, that just complicates the process of sending stems because you are now deconstructing it. But if you are the mix engineer, right, I don't see a reason why you wouldn't do what your creativity and get the desired result. You know what I'm saying? Now, I do think that that's gonna, like, if you don't know what you're doing, right, you could put yourself into a corner, right? And I think that's partly where it comes from is like, if you overcompress the mix bus and then want the mastering engineer to make your shit loud as fuck or punchy as right, because you don't know what you're doing. But something on your mix bus, know why. Learn that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not against the idea of doing it. But I am in agreement of
Know your
like
machine.
it's better
Yeah.
if you just take all that shit off. If it's not serving, if you're not trying to commit that, you know what I mean? If you want something different than what you did, if somebody sends me stems and they want it to sound a certain way, but the stuff they left on the tracks makes it hard to
Outrageous,
do that,
yeah.
then I'll be like, yo, can you take this off? You know what I'm saying? But that's part of a conversation or whatever.
I mean, well, you got to think about who he works with, you know, and the output that guys like Chris Brown has. Like 14, 15 song albums is like, we have to have some type of consistency, you know, and Chris normally sends, like, Chris can record himself, you know, so when he sends it to,
Shout out to that.
when you send it out to a guy like Tizo, you're sending back the train of like, hey, we just hit mix, now we're gonna hit the master, then we're gonna hit mark, like all of that. Like they have great output and it's consistent sound, you know. And I use stuff on my mix bus as well, you know, and that's just to shape the overall sound. Now, do I record in it? No. Just so I use my ears to fine tune things, and I don't want plugins to overshadow like what's going on. So I can be more detailed, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm a musician first. Like, is that a frequency that's, because my mix bus going to make it do what it do, you know, but when it comes down to sonically, and if we do need to, the mix bus can still be going through mastering in a way to where it's still level, it's zero around the board, but is the quality still consistent to what you've already done? And I think that's the new wave of, especially what now everybody can produce themselves, everybody can record themselves, and not necessarily have to go through a normal distribution situation. They're not making sure your files are this and that and like that. Hey, you can drop a WAV file, but we don't care if it's 48 or 24, you know, or 41, like, I mean 44.1. Like they're not honing in on those specific details. And I know it might not have anything to do with the mix bus, but sonically those small details with having a mix bus that's really hot like that people sending out hot mixes, you know, just to say it's a hot mix so you can bump it in your car. You know, it's going to overload your hearing. Like, you can be like, oh, yeah, it sounds good because it's loud, you know. So that's why I'm like, you can have it on there, but make sure it's A1 before you cut it on, because only thing you need your mix bus to do is enhance what you've already produced. And I think, and I don't know their process, I can't vouch for it, but I think, and this is my thought process based on the consistency, and I'm just using him for an example, Chris Brown sound, knowing that I've seen videos of him recording himself in a hotel room, you know, does he record without Tizo's his template, or he just sends it to him, he drops it where it needs to go, or is it he's not sending his mix bus out, he's just sending him a way that he can just drop and drag, record and drag to the specific tracks that Tizo got his mix bus ready for, you know. And I don't think there's a problem with that, especially with the consistency of sound. I think shaping an artist's sound nowadays is more important than, hey, it has to be there, because you never know. Yeah, you never know what a mix engineer. I've sent stuff to a mix engineer after I've made sure it was like what he needed, and it came back completely opposite of what I thought. You know, and I'm like, okay, all right, I okay, appreciate it, you know, but let me get a better understanding of what you are doing so I can give a solid roadmap going forward to where we don't have to deviate too much, you know, and I want you to be creative in a matter without destroying the integrity of what it is before it happens, you know, and that's just my thought process on it. And I definitely agree with what you were saying. Like, it's different these days, you know, where I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I think what you said, it's all about the knowledge. You have to know what you're doing. Especially now, like, because artists and the turnaround is so fast, the demo-itis is real. So, like, they send you something, 9 times out of 10, they want it to sound a certain way. I know me as a producer as well, I'm definitely, you know, being that I am an engineer, when I send stuff off to other engineers, it's definitely stuff on my mix bus to, like, shape how, as a producer, how I hear it and what I want. And a lot of what I've done could limit you. You know, a lot of times if I'm sending something off to another engineer to enhance what this is, I look at it now, it's all just color, man.
Yeah.
We're shaping the sound. But I think the mix bus argument, I feel like it's a must now because, again, the turnaround so fast. And I know for me, I use it as a cheat code. because I don't, record into all of my plugins on whatever. But you record everything right once it's over with.
You place
activate everything.
right.
And the artist's like, damn, like what
What did you do?
That's if you know what you're doing. Because it could have the opposite effect. You could turn everything on and now it's super muddy, super compressed. It's not breathing as much. But again, like Matt say, it's levels to it.
Yeah. Also, when I think of stuff on your mix bus, I am not including like mastering, like limiting to get your shit loud. Like to me, I still think you take that shit off before you send it to mastering.
Of course.
In my opinion.
I have to agree.
I'm talking about when I think about mix, but I'm legit talking about color, glue stuff, right? But I'm still hitting like mix levels.
Right, I'm still gonna give you the hand roll.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly,
like,
of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like,
Yeah.
I think for artist reference though, I mean, I have a limiter that I just activate once they're like, hey, it's not as loud as I would like. Some artists want to be able to bump it soon they leave.
Yeah.
It's like so.
But I'm not including that though,
Right?
And that's not what I'm mixing into either.
Exactly. What I'm saying, it's an activator type of situation. It's like, hey, if you want this, I'm gonna send you what you need to go to mastering with, and then for your reference, this is not defined. And I put that in the description.
Bro.
This is not. This is a reference. This is a reference to where it could go.
Yeah.
But
I think I'm gonna add like a vocal tag on that.
Yeah, this is a
Nah, for
reference.
real. I think it's something in that, man. Because like,
Do not put this out.
right, you have to let folks know now because like, I've worked with artists and of course they're younger artists. They just think this is the process. They think like whatever you do in the session, you're gonna mix it all like they think that's it and it's ready. I've worked with someone and bro, by the time he got to his car, I'm like, bro, wait, alright.
we ain't did no chops yet. Like,
You know what's crazy though? Like SoundCloud, they got their own mastering shit.
That's what
Yeah.
every platform has that. Like every.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
They got they got software online where people just go and put in tracks that you sent them, and sometimes they're not the best.
And that's the thing, like, that goes into, like, I know it's probably, like, the third question or something like that, but that goes into, like, who really gets the fucking credit for that shit? Like it ain't like SoundCloud that just came up with that shit on their own. You know what I'm saying? Like it was somebody that designed SoundCloud to be able to do something like that in the short amount of time and actually do this shit. You know what I'm saying?
But is it good though?
Yeah.
Was that an attempt at a segue?
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Oh.
I was just going with the flow.
Facts.
And I really think that there's just something going on with our internet here. So thank y'all who are toughing it through and staying locked in. This will all be available in the unapologetic. I can do about that on this side of the game. Now to have a position in this conversation.
Period.
Look, I really began my mixed journey, and it's funny too because like it really is levels to this shit because I feel like I had multiple DAWs, I had Pro Tools, I had everything, and I thought I was mixing things that Brower was doing. Exclusively stated, mix bus in your digital DAW, right? Okay, because you can have things on your mix bus. True.
Yeah.
In an analog.
True.
Mix,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brower's secret to success was his immaculate template. And his template left space and room. He essentially had a 128 channel console. There was a stereo track for it and a bus for it, right? Already set with his EQ, his compressors, blah, blah, blah. He just needed to match a certain peak in RMS and going into those channels, and he could be sure. And the last and final stage of that was things on his mix bus. And they were already there. They weren't plug-in. They were actual compressors. Some of them he designed himself.
It's crazy.
Right.
And so this is how, the standard length for a mix at Quad was anywhere from 10 to 12 hours. Everybody bought day, rates to mix one song. And Brower would do 3 in the same amount of time. because of his amazing template, right? So, I think, but at the same time, before people get too excited about, I got to do the same thing. Brower was a fucking genius.
Extremely.
Okay? You can't skip the genius part.
Right.
You can't
He is
skip.
a goat.
It still is. Still
Yeah,
is.
Absolutely. You can't skip the part that he extremely knew his tools. He knew how every one of his tools was reacting, not just off of specific elements, but groups of elements, combinations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Michael Brower was a human multi-core processor, right?
Wow.
And so, I think that it's easy to say, yeah, man, have all this stuff on your mix bus, blah blah blah, cool. But to me, mixing is never about singular or individual, treatment. It's always about how many things can you think about at the same time, because everything you do affects something else.
Yep.
And that is nowhere more prevalent than the mix bus,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Facts.
And so it is having a unique relationship with where you are, where you want to go, and all the things happening in that time. If you can maintain that balance, then yes, fuck with the mix bus. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and honestly, I think it starts with like going to one of your mixes that you love. Go to one of your mixes that you love, see what's on the mix bus, and then feel cognizant enough of, right? Especially if what you're mixing sounds similar, will have the same sonic qualities and textures. Sure, why not? But remember, it's a juggle. If you mix in a linear capacity, do not put stuff on your mix bus. Right? If you're like, okay, let me handle the snare. I need to make sure this. Let me do this. And you're doing things one at a time. Able to mix think about what's happening in the stereo field. Well, then you might have the ability to multi-core process all of the individual things and what's happening on the mix bus. This is some extreme nerd shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Facts.
But that's what this is.
Yeah.
This is not some I'm just fucking around shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people who do this the best are nerds,
Extreme.
right? They might dress cool, they might look cool, but they are nerds, right? And so you can't skip that part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was, man, one of the big turning points for me in terms of like commitment to figuring out mix bus, like this has to be a part of specifically my Kid Maestro stuff, is just the idea that a lot of, when I listen to like Madlib and all these producers that I love that were making, they were part of their sound was the machines that they were using. And those machines would have a quality, they would have like compressions, you know what I'm saying? It would be stuff, like it would come out of the SP like that. It would come out of the MPC like that. And so my thought was like part of developing a sound, for me, I wanted to explore like the beats just come out this way because there's already shit set up. So like my decisions are funneled through this predetermined
Output.
set of parameters that I kind of already have ready to go that'll influence my decisions from the gate and create like a consistency. You know what I mean? On some like creative producer shit. And so if I do that, I wouldn't want to destroy that. You know what I mean? Like just for the sake of rules. And Matt is right. It's like when you program that 808 and you know what I'm saying, and everything's getting quiet.
Right.
Like you got to know why.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
What's
saying?
going on?
Like,
Exactly.
I feel that.
and
Absolutely. I'll tell you one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned about juggling sound. Y'all ever, and I feel like every producer goes through this. I don't know about, there's very few things I can say but I feel like this is one of them. Every beat maker at some point has gone through, found some knocking ass drums. And you like, man, these drums is knocking. I love this. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then at some point in the beat creation, you're like, yo, drums not really knocking like that.
No cap.
Like, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Now you start doing some crazy ass EQ. You know what I'm saying? You start, I know what it is. Compression on the stereo. That's what they always say. It's the, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
you start doing a whole bunch of shit to your drums. And it ain't got nothing to do with it. Your drums ain't knocking no more because of what you did to the stuff around the drums.
Around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that is a testament to, are you good at thinking about multiple things at the same time?
Yep.
And are you aware of how different things can affect different things. You think your drums are weak. They aren't. They're just fine, right? You just got the other stuff too loud. You haven't created enough dynamic range from the drums and your melody to make the drums actually sound like they're knocking,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
There's only so much space.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I'm a again. I said this when we started. I'm a musician first, so I've been in a band dynamic, and playing together is the forefront of that. I think of mixing and beat making as a stage.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right, I can hear the drums, I can hear keys, I heard this. I forgot what interview I heard it on, but they were saying mix your beats as you're watching the stage. So the thing is, if my guitar is sitting stage right, you know, so my panning, of course I start mono, you know, let's get a good level for everything. You know, right. Start getting a good level to where everything is sounding together, playing together, and then explore that dynamic range like they were saying, like, hey, we need to go slightly left here, slightly right there. And knowing that, like he said, your drums, you can start there. Like, okay, if that's something that you do as a producer, we're not telling you how to start it or do it, and your way of making things happen. If drums are your thing, all right, cool. Let's start there. But don't sacrifice you as a producer by adding other things into it. But give it its own space, and you don't have to overdo it. You know, the big thing here, start mono, please. Please. As beat makers, producers, whatever, start mono, because you'll find once you start opening up your mix and you put on some really good headphones, you know.
Kid got those on lock.
Man, you get some really good headphones
I was
first.
just shopping for headphones last night in this.
For what?
Because it's time, bro. Shout out to the OG Junts. But like my life is just different now, and I need.
They said my
I
life.
said my life is different. His ears have changed, guys.
And I just need something that'll.
Salute to that, bro.
Now, trust your ears, man.
Flex though.
Salute to that. My life is just
Yo,
different. You know.
period.
How many pairs of DTs do you got, dog?
Hey,
But that was
congrats, my guy. To be able to say that. Congrats.
Hey, you gotta hear things different.
My life is just different.
Hold on, real
you know?
quick. I gotta make sure I say this. Yo, kid has gotten a lot of game from me over the years. I'm gonna take this one, bro. I'm gonna just start saying that. I'm gonna be like, yo, I was gonna use the UAD jump, but yo, my life is different now. You know what I mean?
My expectations have changed. Yeah, it's like that, man. Once you done been in a room and you done heard something different, you be like, oh, whoa. Hold on. My life different now. My life has changed.
My life is different now. I love that, man. I love
But
that.
check your dynamic range and don't overdo it.
Yeah.
You know, don't overdo it. Simplicity is okay to give room for other creativity to happen in the moment. And that's just my take on everything y'all said. Like, I resonate with that because at first, again, as a musician, you want to do all the craziness that you got going on in your head, but knowing that it will sacrifice the overall end goal at the end of the day is like, oh, we gotta dial it back, take a step back. And that's not only just with drums, instruments, but that is also sound quality and knowing what's going on in your mix the whole time. Because I'm not gonna put a bass line and I got a bass line and it's EQ'd a certain way, and I know I have a baritone type of artist that's gonna clash. You know, having a decent low end mix is important too. You know, and making sure you're not in the way of who you're working with. I think it's always a thought process. You know, I know an artist, and shout out to Breeze, she's in the chat, and I work with her on a regular basis, and I know her dynamic range, and I know for when I'm creating with her or for her, I know to stay away from that, you know, and saying, hey, don't overcrowd it here, and then we can add something later that accents or complements that, you know, so always think about those things. You know?
And that's a real good point before we move on. I wanna like, in my mind, like, as a producer engineer, like, it is special when you have an artist that you can work with that
understands the give and take of that.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, that knows that, like, okay, what I'm asking you to sing or rap on isn't the final thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm asking you I'm asking you to take part in the dance.
Yeah.
Versus a this is done, now do your thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like understand that the same way I've made a beat to inspire you, you're gonna say or do something that's gonna inspire me.
Yeah.
It might turn it up.
Exactly. Right?
real.
There's a dance to be had there.
Yeah.
And I find that is not, I think I grew up kind of spoiled with that because I started off working with some amazing artists. And so once I got around artists who didn't understand that dance, I was like frustrated. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, what do you not understand? You know what I'm saying? But they literally need like for all the drops to be there, all of the
Yeah.
already be there. You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow.
Yeah, you never know, and big ups to that. Even with rappers with having the drops in there, like doing sessions, and they're like, "Well, where the drops at?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know what you're saying.
This.
I
gotta listen to it.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you said. Does it make sense to say, put a drop here, and you said let the music keep going? I'm like, why would I put a drop there? You just said let the music keep going.
Gotta make sense.
Yeah, real quick. Let me shout out to the people in the chat, man. Young Quota, what up, homie?
Good family.
Quota said, more knock for what's going on in the
Right.
middle, extreme parts, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, man.
Big shout out Rory. Rory said, Kid said he did the whole set at DKDC live. Still haven't gotten over that. Completely blew his mind. Rory also said that his life is different now. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Hey, change your life, man.
Salute to
All
that.
right.
Yeah. Quota also says, I hate working with difficult artists. I think everyone does.
No.
Yeah.
I feel
Sometimes you gotta fire
I
clients.
love working with difficult artists. It's like,
You know what I'm saying?
how
Love
can we make
challenge
this as
and
hard
embrace
as
it.
possible?
Yeah, way back, man. My man, Duba, one of the. Let's learn.
Yes.
Bro.
Time to take out a notepad.
That's it.
Absolute capacity, you look up to them.
Yeah.
But they always meet you with a level of humility.
Community here, cause I
All right, here we go.
Mic test 1, 2. Let me see this.
just not,
Yeah. I need somebody to fix that.
right.
Bro, everyone's behind them.
But,
Wow.
That's wild, fam.
Real wow.
That's wild, fam.
Real wow. It sound. I'm
You
not,
sure?
I'm nope. It sound. I'm
You
not.
sure?
I'm nope. I'm not doing.
Do they still get the recognition? Because I mean, we think about realize like a lot of these ideas is
Great idea. Does that make sense?
Even in that example, to me, fuck about who made it. Some people
Okay. Whose song?
fuck about who made it. Some people
Okay. Whose song is asking questions beyond that appreciation?
Yeah.
That's where this conversation starts.
Yeah.
That's the
is the artist considered the front door in this analogy.
no,
Because
no,
that's
no.
what I'm
The song
likening
is
the
the front door.
business.
The
So
song
it's
is
the
front
front
door.
So I said that because I feel like the artist that's and so then I think it's third.
Context to what this discussion is actually about, it's second. You're saying, right? So in this case, right, like the building is the song, right? Okay, so the artist is actually the architect,
yeah.
right? Right, and so and that's because in building buildings, the architect is considered the designer or the like is considered the artist.
Right, it's the blueprint.
Right, exactly, right. And then, you know, and I think in your example, I don't think
But if we're
no,
saying
the
the
building is
artist
the song. Yeah.
is appreciated third at the most,
In that case, appreciating the building is not even a part of
the part of that
once you get past the building, your appreciation of the building. People left. The only thing left, right? How would you prioritize those two?
the guy. I'm saying in music.
No.
Yeah.
Let's stay with the building. Let's stay with the building. We're
Behind
not talking about the building is not in the
So
conversation.
he's first.
Okay.
He doesn't. Then
Because it's relevant. Tag is right at the beginning too, and then the talk about it after the fact was how simple the beat was that DJ Mustard did, and the fact part of the conversation is because we now have producer artists, and he said, "I did all of these things." So now I think it's showing its head of saying, "Hey, the architect is going out to say, hey, it was me." You know, most times in the past, the architect is just
I guess I disagree with that. Come up with the idea to want to collaborate on something should be number one, and they're always pushed back to number 5, 6, and 7. Oh my gosh, this one. like writers like under there that true enough their names are on the credit. Oh, they made the beat. Oh, they wrote.
Like product perspective, like and in less than a God.
I get that.
Yeah.
I get
You know what I'm saying? Like I
get
want
that.
people to think, wow. You know, one thing we learned at Quad was one of the mantras was like, the intern's job is to make the assistant look like a genius. The assistant's job is to make the engineer look like a genius. The engineer's job is to make the artist look like a genius.
We're talking about the initial idea.
Yeah, but I do think it's a like as prioritized. Like I think Quincy Jones.
Right.
Maybe this is an extreme anomaly of an example.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys can metaphorically or,
What about
or
Isaac Hayes?
think about this. But I'm just saying like what exactly? That's the question.
And
right?
honestly,
See the main.
in a way to where it's known that Mustard did this. It's known that Metro did this. It's known that
Thank
Well,
Dilla.
to me,
Dilla too. Yeah.
if me and Pro do a song, it's gonna be Pro. Let's say
Oh, yeah.
that.
Okay, making a song as an example. Okay, but let's say you wrote the hook, you wrote his verse, and you made the beat. That's the example.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so what I was gonna say was that like, and I did the bass line, right? That's to me, that's the person that gets for. Dylan is definitely getting his props, but like it's that stuff
basement,
comes
all of that.
when that stuff
I feel
comes
like
to
that's
life.
different though. I
Yeah.
feel like there was like a stigma, ghost stigma. You know what I'm saying? And there was a role that you played knowing like I need to keep quiet my contributions.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like what happened, he didn't do this, that, and the other. Like that's a very common. We was talking about is RZA just that had your hands down on it,
And
producer, then it would do. Good.
I don't think so. And the reason I say that is, like, to the architect and the contractor dynamic. When you go to guys like Timbaland, and you say yes, some people might have created a sound in this Missy Elliott record. Let's just use that for an example. Missy Elliott put the record out. Timbaland produced it. These guys created a sound. But who made sure it crossed the finish line, I think, is who you consider the architect. It's like the person who went and said, hey, I need you to do this. Hey, I need you to do that. Hey, these are the contractors we can use to pour the foundation.
Well, I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying like I feel like that role. This is why I think it's not appreciated. Is because like that is considered taking advantage of people, right? That's the perspective.
I feel like life
that's
is,
the general perspective, and which is why I think
do they
guys-
misuse them though? Like life is about you're here to be used in any type of way, but it's when you misuse a person, it's where we cross that line of, hey, I don't think this is a conducive situation because if let's say I'm Mad Beats for example, he's creating a community of producers who feel confident in their work. And in that situation, if he takes a liking to something that he heard, and his initial idea is to say, hey, bring him in to do some work. I know me and him have a relationship. I know he's not the guy that's saying, I forget about who I brought in. I make this happen. But the thing is, that's another guy that works real close with D-Mile. You know what I'm saying? Jeff is not a big, hey, I'm that guy type of individual. You know what I'm saying? But he's great at what he does. Whoever played that horn line, oh my God, D-Mile didn't play that. You know what I'm saying? Used in a situation to make something else happen. I feel like that is the person who is MacGyvering this whole thing. Like, you wouldn't normally bring a guy like Mono Neon in. I'm just using this for an example. You wouldn't bring a guy like Mono Neon in for a bass line that he heard on a track. Like, he was like, hold on. Let's bring Mono in and add this to it. Right. Did we just use Mono? Yes. Did we misuse him? No, because he's going to get his just due credit, his just due reward on that.
I think there's so there's a bit of like back to what you're saying right here, but really quick, when you say when you say there's the idea that that people are being let's go back to the RZA John. So if RZA isn't the one with his hands on things, and there are other people actually, with their hands on things, and RZA is just the idea guy, right? And then you said that might diminish people's idea of him as a producer.
Yeah.
Mike, why if RZA is the idea person and he didn't play the keys, but he told the key player what to play and how to play it, right? Why is that a threat to his integrity as a producer?
I think that's just how public perception works, especially when you don't have a deep understanding of the process. Like if this thing comes out and it says produced by RZA, like the average person is gonna make up a story in their head about how this song came together, right? And when the information comes out that like totally like changes, and I don't think that's necessarily right. I feel like education, okay, it was fucked up.
Like, not, you have to say Jazzy, what Jazzy does is okay. I don't
like
even
the dream.
So agreed, but I don't think, especially when it comes to producing, I feel like producers are still kind of just now learning that. Not to mention other fans. And so, like in your example, if he brings in Mono Neon for a session, right, and it says produced by I Make Mad Beats, and that's gonna fuck them up. You know what I'm saying? So then somebody's gonna go and then you find out like, yo, it was Mad Beats don't be giving the credit to people. Now it's gonna take the people who was gonna be in the background anyway to have to come out and say, actually, no, I was good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't think that
because of the
real.
lack of understanding of the process.
That's real because I think about, and I initially before you made the statement, I was against it, but like I'm thinking about Kanye when I found seeing how this really works. It was like, okay, now I get it. But I think another thing is like, especially now, brands are a big thing. I feel like it really comes down to who brand is like really fuck with. Man, they're like
fans of, because they want to be like what they think Dr. Dre is like, right? And if their idea of Dr. Dre is a person who's on the MPC,
right,
banging out beats, and you find out that he brought in this person who be on the keys named Scott Storch, and this other person, you know what I'm saying, who banged out the beats, then you're like, oh, I don't want to be like Dr. Dre. I want to be like Scott Storch. You know what I mean? Like, and now Dr. You know what I'm saying? Folks.
I understand. I think, okay, so let me say this. So, a song, right? And you pull in a bassist, right? You tell the bassist, hey, man, like let's say you already played the bass. You just use slides and things that just don't naturally happen on software. Right? And you tell him what to play, blah, blah, blah. Right? Okay, cool. He plays it extremely well. Right? All right, let me ask you this. Like the song comes out, people love the bass line. Somebody says, yo, who played that bass line? What do you say?
Me? If he asks me who played that?
Right? Now, Kid Maestro.
Man, realistically, I think I would like to get the credit, but realistically, I probably wouldn't.
Tell me why.
Because I feel like that's gonna play into this idea that people's credit.
But that's hold on, time out. But are you stealing somebody's shine?
if you
Right.
you the one
If
gave
you're
him.
you gave him what he does.
Let's be accurate. Did what you're afraid somebody's going to perceive of you is, in this case, right? And now we're going now. If I'm being honest, I feel like you've criticized me about these kinds of things, right? Or at least about the sentiment behind these kinds of things, right? Which is someone's hesitation to take their necessary props or credit for something that they've done, right? In fear of public perception, even though it's the truth.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, that's why I asked you this question, right? Is like if, and then hold on. Now, when you say, yo, Jeremy played that, people are gonna walk up to Jeremy right in front of you. People are gonna walk up to Jeremy and be like, yo, that's a crazy bass line you played, bro. Amazing. Like, man, I can't believe, you know what I'm saying, you came up with that. Right? Okay, they're talking to Jeremy. They're not talking to you. Do you just sit there and chill, or do you say, actually, hey, I know Jeremy's not really saying this, but because he's not saying this, maybe I should say it. That was actually my idea.
Yeah.
Or do you just sit back and let Jeremy collect props for things he don't deserve them for?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Mr. Architect.
I would actually hope that Jeremy would speak up for me.
Okay, no, okay, that's real. Hold on.
We dealing with real life.
I want to be clear. That's real. and a character over everything scenario, hopefully you chose a Jeremy that will say, and this is I deal with this very often.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully you chose someone that when they say, yo, Jeremy, that bass line is dope. How'd you come up with that? Hopefully you chose a Jeremy that'll say, well, actually, I just played what Mad Beast told me what to play.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not always the case.
Well,
Yeah.
man,
And in fact, people who love you and care about you, they'll just be so excited about getting appreciation, they will forget to mention you. Even the people with good character.
Yeah.
Absolutely will just accept all the props.
Yeah.
And will never mention that it was your idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, right, that's ideal, but that's not the scenario I'm giving.
Exactly.
I'm giving the scenario I'm giving is Jeremy is not going to turn around and say, that was Kid Maestro. Kid Maestro, what do you do?
Yeah, I feel like in that scenario, I probably wouldn't say anything. But I would just be like, okay, now I have to tell the story about how this song came together.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Tell the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just be like, yeah, so this is why I was thinking about the drums, and then I came up with this bass line, and I played it, and then I was like, yo, I need to bring in Jeremy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I
Hold
would
on.
tell it would be a different context, though.
It would be a different. Now, let me ask you this.
Does that diminish your brand?
Oh, hold on. No,
Guys, you there?
Keep that loaded. Keep that loaded. So now let's just say that you know when you drop this, and let's just say this happened on IG, right? Somebody put up there, yo, who played the bass line? You said Jeremy, and now there's like 100 comments underneath that of people giving Jeremy props. Let's say the next day you like, yo, I'm gonna talk about how this song came. Are you not afraid? Are you not concerned of
About
that
the
same
flat.
perception issue
Yeah.
that you just mentioned? Just because 24 hours later you decided to tell this story, and now you're giving yourself the props on this amazing bass line.
Right.
In this scenario, in this specific scenario,
Yeah.
and I feel like in a general sense, this could be a little bit more nuanced, but in this specific scenario, no, because I can show the bass line I played. I can walk through it all and show the receipts.
Hold on,
Yeah.
bro. Hold on. I just want to be clear about something. Okay. You showing the bass line and that you played it. Like, we're not battling the truth. We're not battling whether or not you did it or not. We're not even battling. Hold on. We're not even battling your need to prove that you did it. We're battling that you feel like telling the truth is going to make it look like you're all about yourself and you're trying to take something from Jeremy. Right? So even if you do show receipts, think about it. Even if you're like, hey, I got the receipts that I did it. Your concern is that telling the truth is going to make it look like you want everything to be about you, even though it's the truth.
Yeah, but I say that in like the context of the conversation. If somebody asked me plainly, you know, who played that bass, I might feel uncomfortable saying, well, I came up with the bass and then I brought Jeremy to come in and play it. You know what I'm saying? That might
Why?
make me.
Tell me why.
That might
Tell
make
me
me.
why. That's the root of this
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
Tell me why. That is. Hold on. Is that the truth?
That is the truth.
Okay. Now hold on. Now I'm gonna take this to a tangential space just for the sake of because I know you and I know how much you feel like the truth don't have to be twisted.
Yeah.
The truth don't need no salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Right? You can tell the truth thoroughly as long as it is 100% the truth.
Right.
And know you are doing the right thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Okay, I know you believe that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, if that's indeed the truth, why can't you say that?
Or why do you feel uncomfortable?
Because I believe the context of the conversation matters, right? So I do believe if I didn't like a song, just separate. If I didn't like what an artist did and that was the truth, me saying it like how'd you like that, and I was like I don't fuck with that, would not be the right way to tell the truth, right? And so just in this example, in the context of the conversation, somebody asked me plainly. Like I was just in the judgment, I might feel comfortable like going into this long explanation instead of just saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? Because, yo, there's a chance to put my man Jeremy on, all these things. Even though it's the truth that I came up with this bass line.
Yeah.
However, if I'm noticing, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, this is kind of the truth, like this is being skewed past what it should be. There's another, this is why I said, okay, now I got to tell my story. In the context of that, I can control a little bit more. I can paint a fuller picture. Is what I'm saying. That's mostly what I'm saying.
I understand that. I'm just saying when you do that, right? Again, you said Jeremy played the bass line. You watched people give Jeremy props, assuming with them assuming that Jeremy didn't just play it, he was the visionary of
Right.
it, he came up with it all himself, right? My concern, your initial concern for this whole thing was people's perception of you trying to take props away from Jeremy
Right.
and put the focus back on yourself. The distinction I'm trying to understand is at this point is whether even when you decide, okay, I need to tell the story of how this happened.
Yeah.
Right? You don't think that'll happen then as well?
Not with that not with a fuller context of the story. Not
Okay.
not to me.
I think that would still happen. And I'm going to be honest. I think that would still happen because I am living example and proof. I've been through this. This thing we're describing, I've been through 6,000 times. Right? It would still happen no matter what. Right? This is why I go back to the very beginning. Right? The clearest way I can do this is like I've been in scenarios where people will choose for their feelings to be hurt. There is no tone. There is no way you can deliver. That's the thing. When you do all this extra stuff or whatever, blah, blah,
I feel
people
that.
are going to say it's the way you said it. It's your tone. It's this and this, blah, blah, blah. And then you can strategically not do any of that stuff. And those people still will not concede, right? It's because... And after you're done with that, it makes you think like, hey, wait a minute. That tone police and shit was just a way for them to not receive the
Exactly.
message.
Right.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with it. The message is the
That's
message.
right.
The truth is the truth. That's why I say you might as well go ahead and say from the gate.
Yeah.
Because the people who are going to have a problem are going to have a problem regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'cause-
Ain't nothing like a problem. Ain't nothing like a problem.
Yeah. Now
That's real.
to me, okay, so my question is now, in this scenario, if somebody asked me if I
Fight Jeremy. Make a
Make a
diss track about Jeremy. Shout out my G Jeremy. You going down,
if
fam.
somebody asked me who played the bass and I said me, would that be wrong to say?
If somebody said who played the bass?
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah,
think
that'd be
I mean,
Daryl.
but hold on,
No,
but
I don't think so.
If you didn't play
I
it.
think
I think that's the way you introduce it. Yeah,
Well, no,
I played it and I brought in such and such to,
hold on.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on.
I'm just asking. It's-
Okay, so
yeah.
all right, me personally,
Yeah.
if somebody said, "Yo, did you play the bass?" and I did not play the bass, then the answer is no.
Right.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. I think earlier you said like this long. You gave the inference of like this long, drawn out explanation. It doesn't need one.
Does not.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't need a long, drawn out information. Like if somebody said, "Yo, who played the bass?" You know what I'm saying?
Came up
And then
with
I
how
said,
you call such as in.
and I would be like, "Oh, that was Mono. Mono played the bass." You know what I'm saying? And then I would just say something like, "I would like, yo, you fuck with it? Yeah, man, that bass line is crazy." Now,
Then
now
you're there.
Segue into,
now you say.
That's
Yeah.
it.
But that's the and that's kind of what I was saying. Like it's the context of the conversation. You know what I mean? And so like in this scenario, they just went off and was like, okay, and it was like, damn, I ain't. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't get
That's
the
a
chance to
half
say it. I
truth.
feel
That was a
that.
truth to the answer, but that's not
I
the
feel
whole
that.
story, right? And now I'm looking at this spiral out of control, and it's like, okay, now I gotta
that.
play damage control.
Well-
But I wouldn't. But in that scenario, I would be like, I would have the space to tell the story. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like,
Does that
my
and
direct-
like he said, when you do tell that story, when you do, does that diminish your brand because you told the story? Does
No.
that? Because right now you're in a position to where you
because of the context of it. You know what I'm saying? If somebody that's what I'm
the word
saying.
context.
The conversation has left the space for where that is like an appropriate response. Is
okay.
what I'm saying.
So RZA called so and so to do this, and this guy to do that. RZA said, "I produced this because I called A, B, and C, and this is the result. This is what I'm able to produce for you."
Yeah.
Like mine's in the room as a producer to say, "Hey, I did this," and then once I do say that and I do tell that story, I feel like that broadens my brand because now I have
For years, I feel like for a long time niggas did not know that what's Dr. Dre's most famous joint?
California Love.
No,
Chronic
the
joint.
one that the one that Scott Storch did the keys on.
Oh, Still Drake.
Still Drake,
Still
right?
Drake, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It took years for that to come out,
That's
right?
not the most famous Drake channel.
Yeah.
it's a good one.
okay, well, that's a good conversation. That's the most anyway, but like
New conversation. What's the most
but like for a long time that was just Dr. Dre was the producer, like, you know what I'm saying? And then it came out like Scott Storch. For some people, that discovery, that coming out, right, in that context, knocked Dr. Dre's skill level down a little bit.
Doubt it. I said Dre got
hold on,
relationships.
I disagree. I disagree.
Really quick. We got a newbie in the chat says, I think you say you composed the music and had it played by Jeremy. Yeah. I mean, that's factually true. This current discussion is why someone might even hesitate to say that, even though that's the truth, right? Is the fear that you said that even you adding that you did something in the mix might bring some negative perception to yourself. That's what the conversation is about.
And I get
Go ahead.
I get what you were saying. Like, what if, you know, you having that conversation and be like, oh yeah, that bass line was cool, and then they just walk off type shit, and you ain't even get a chance. Well, you know, such as that, you ain't even get a chance to go into the conversation. So I do see that, but I do feel what Matt was saying. Like, sometimes we should just like find ways to like initially like
Record everything.
Yeah,
Well, just be prepared for those moments. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas gonna come. So like, how can I? Without seeming like I'm being cocky or trying to boost myself up or anything like that, how can I like come into this conversation and with ownership still, but also knowing that I had different components to come together with this to make this product.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a good point that like if somebody wanted to be mad at you for something, they would just,
That's
you know what I'm
them.
saying?
They're gonna be mad.
They
That's
would
it.
just figure
That's
it
it.
out.
That's it. It
You know
don't
what I'm
matter.
saying? So, you know, that's that on that.
Yeah.
But again,
Here's,
all I was in that scenario, it was all about the context of the conversation, like where it goes. You know what I
is
mean?
Dre still Dre? Is Dr. Dre still Dr. Dre?
To some people, yes. To
Okay.
some people, he was like, he just be.
I'm saying, does Dre still get the call before Scott gets the call?
I believe so because of his brain. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
The relationships he's had with
Yeah.
Scott,
Yeah.
That's a great point.
with everybody else, who gets the call?
Yeah.
The architect gets the call. Because I know for sure when you give me that call,
Yeah.
I'm going to call Matt. I'm going to call LJ. I'm going to call Kid Maestro. I'm going to call
Yeah.
Unique. Because I know for sure, after you gave me that call, I can produce a product that you are going to say, Dre is consistent. And my rebuttal to that is, here's the split sheet. Here is the accolades. Here's the credits. And then when we have a beat breakdown, well, Kid Maestro came in here with a mean hook. Unique came in here with this bridge that everybody's talking about. Look at what Unique did. Look at what LJ did to these drums, and did you hear what Mad put on that mix bus? Back to the top.
I think it's deciding too that if you want to be Timbaland, right? Understanding that Timbaland, there are a large group of people who will make Timbaland exposed videos because Timbaland did not shout out Danger.
At
You know what
all.
I'm saying?
At all.
Like that, and that has that
Yeah,
is
they
a
didn't
dent
even
on
see
his
him.
brand. That necessarily hasn't maybe stopped him from getting
Right.
certain levels of opportunities.
And I agree.
But if I think kind of to round it all out, like if the concern that somebody could even have a point in making an exposed video about you, like this will be why you may
Well,
be hesitant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
did that stop him?
because it's the culture.
But the thing is, and me and Mad was having this conversation before the thing, and I was saying how kings remain kings, and how people who work for them remain the people who work for them. And to the point of, I do not agree with what Timbaland did with Danger Room. But in that same sentence, in that same story, Timbaland's going to get the call first. Because he utilized the situation that he misused. He misused in the moment.
I think, just to go back to the Dre joint, like, I think it was a great point to suggest, like, and I think Dre is a great example for the sake of this conversation, is that, like, even amidst all of, you know, whether it was Scott Storch or Mailman, that was the first Scott Storch, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was these people and those dents to his brand, right? There is no greatest hip hop producer of all time conversation without Dre battling for number one.
Right.
Facts.
Right? And I would dare say, if he's not at one, this is your personal preference. You're not being objective. Like, and I'm just being real. And I wouldn't even put, Dre is not even my personal preference favorite producer. But objectively speaking, nah, come on, man. It's got to be Dre. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be Dre. And so that goes to say that, like, if you're moving in a way that's dodging negative perception, even though you're telling the truth, you're expending energy that is not efficient and is unnecessary.
Right.
Because the criticism is going to show up no matter what.
Press is press.
No matter what. The real question is, when they tell the story, right, what are you willing to do to make sure that your contributions are part of the story?
Yeah.
Right? Because as much as you want to play an integrity or humility game, right, that does determine whether or not you get that call.
That's right.
Right.
Right? Let's be clear. Nobody started thinking Lil Wayne was the best until he said he was the best.
That's right.
Before the Black Album, nobody was saying Jay-Z was, I was there. Nobody was saying Jay-Z was the best until Jay-Z said, I'm the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how much of your story you say, how much credit you get for the things you did. I remember one time my man Synops, he said that's when I was working at Lexmark, and I think about this to this day, mad years later. He said, yo, do you know how you get a promotion at your job? I said, man, do a great job. He said, no. He said, do a great job and make sure your supervisor knows it was you.
Yes.
Bro.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
I was like, damn,
Yes.
Yep.
that's
People will
real.
take credit.
Yes.
They will.
And that's what I was
That's
thinking.
real.
Like, it really does matter who's telling the story.
For real,
Because, like you said, people gonna talk regardless. But it's who's telling the story. How big is their brand? Because whether you're telling the truth or not, if your brand is big enough, I mean, think about it. We live in America. We hear so many things every day, especially on the internet or whatever, that are false.
Right.
But it depends on who tell it will determine how many people side with them. Like, oh, this is the facts.
Right.
Right. And one thing that I noticed in that same situation, if anybody watched the Kanye documentary that was on Netflix, like, bro, he documented everything.
Nubia says, yeah, I think the impulse to worry about credit makes less sense when you have faith that your consistent output is undeniable.
Facts.
If I know my greatness is undeniable, I don't got to worry about people giving Jeremy props that he didn't earn. So I probably wouldn't say anything or worry about correcting people. Okay. I do think, all I'm going to say is this. That's how I used to think. Because that's very optimal. It's very ideal. It's very idealist. It's very like, nah, man, as long as I just continue. But again,
Live in
like,
America.
no, absolutely. No, once you get into these competitive spaces, right? And that's the thing is, if you haven't, then I understand why you, like, this is an assumption. This is a supposition, right? Okay. You know what I'm saying? But I know I've been there. Not only have I seen it, I've witnessed it's happened to me, right? You know, absolutely. Like where it's like, nah. Sometimes you do need to say, nah, that was me.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because your inability to do that will cost you opportunities.
Exactly.
Right?
Because they don't want to see you deliver.
I had to learn that.
The trickiest thing, one of the trickiest things about America is how humble they want. It's just like the difference between MLK in the beginning versus MLK at the end.
You're right.
Right.
That's right.
Man, nah,
That's right.
don't fight back. Don't do
That's
that. It's
right.
all gonna work out in the end. And my man got shot a few
Straight
blocks from
up.
here.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. It's like it's you know, that approach I've seen that approach work if credit is not currency. Credit is currency in a competitive space.
That's right.
This is what
It
you think about you.
absolutely is.
That's right.
Right.
Get you opportunities. All
It
that.
absolutely is currency in a competitive space. People
right.
need to know what you did and didn't do. That will determine your opportunities.
That's
Things
right.
will
Call
not
you.
just work out because they're supposed to work out. No.
Man.
I've seen whole people go in. That's why Unplugged is. That's why it's telling the story 30 years later. That's why niggas don't have no money and they live in Florida.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Exactly.
For real,
Meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? These are real stories
No,
of
for real, though.
geniuses who
Real
didn't
shit.
get their credit, and now they ain't got nothing.
That's
and
right.
they only hope is to tell the story,
That's
and
right.
people hope, you know what I'm saying?
To mess with them again.
Exactly.
I do
That's right.
have a question for y'all. So this is like architect, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so is there a place or is it ever inappropriate to, let's say, you know, the assistants.
Hold on. My bad, fam. My bad. Yo, man.
He said, I didn't think anybody.
Hold on. We got a legend. In the chat, fam. Hold on, fam.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Hold on, fam. Hold on, bro. Yo, big shout out to my G Niles. You know what I'm saying? In the chat on IG, chiming in. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know who Nas is, just click on his profile. He's Retro Spectro right there with the 3s in the tag. You know what I'm saying? Man, this is an absolute honor, bro. Shout out to my man Nas in the chat for chiming in. He says, let me go and quote this man properly because he's that legend. Oh, damn, a lot of comments that came in. What happened? Oh, what? Damn. He said, I don't think anybody gets credit. He thinks the credit they deserve. I don't know. This shit is shuffling, you know what I'm saying? It's moving a lot.
Yeah, they in there now. Like,
Niggas ain't getting credit.
Let me look on my phone, fam. Big shout out Niles, you know what I'm saying? The legend.
Man, so, like, okay, we mentioned, like, you know, like you mentioned, the engineer, the assistance is to make the engineer, job is to make the engineer look like a genius, right?
Correct.
Okay, in this currency information jump, right? Let's say this is a Michael Brower mix, right? But he assigned you to treat the vocals, right?
Yeah.
I think you should talk about that.
Do you like on your own accord go and make
Yes.
I did this, you know what I'm saying? And is that ever not appropriate?
Hold on.
Right?
Whoa.
Only if, okay.
That's
Okay.
good.
That caveat was
This
good.
is a real scenario. So this is a great
That was
example.
really good.
This is a very real scenario. Okay. And specifically and uniquely in the music industry, right? Okay. I think it is very important to understand how transparent you can be about what you're doing for somebody with that person.
Right.
Right? So I mean I think a lot of this gets lost in, okay, this is an opportunity. I don't want to ruffle no feathers. I don't want to say nothing, blah, blah. But I do think we're in an era now where everybody, like self-promotion is necessary.
Absolutely.
That's why you have social media. This is not 1997. You know what I'm saying? Like it's to be able to say what it is that you're doing or have done. Absolutely. And so I think now we're in this space where it's like, okay, if we're in there and Brower is asking me to do this, blah, blah. Before I'm even in there, and I'm gonna be real, before Brower would even trust me to do something like that, I need to understand our relationship well enough for me to know, okay, Brower, are you asking me to hide what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And because honestly, if that's the case, then I'm charging more.
Right.
Right.
Period.
Right?
Like,
It's okay
what
to
are
be
we
a
really
service
doing?
provider and be in the shadows if you're okay with that dynamic and you set up your payment to justify that. You're okay
That's
with
right.
that.
That's
Cool. You know what I'm saying? Or, Brower, is it cool if I talk about what I do for you and blah, 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 and Brower says, nah, it's all love, blah, blah, blah. Then absolutely I'm like, hey, yo, Brower told me to treat the vocals. Yo, this is what I did. You know what I'm saying?
It just
It's an
boosted
honor
your brand.
For Brower,
That's right.
blah, blah,
That's
blah, blah,
right.
blah.
You just got to co-sign out the deal.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you just got to check with your superior, basically, on what the vibe is.
Or just check with your working partner or whoever, you know, however you look at the relationship.
Absolutely.
We just don't assume
Right.
that's. You could just be like, yo.
Situation.
But then
Situation.
again, if you know you have that kind of relationship with that kind of person, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay.
I want to say this, man. I want to say this real quick. And I know right now we're dealing with a different yay. You know what I'm saying? But hey, let me ask y'all this. Anybody who got a problem with shouting yourself out and saying exactly what you did, then I know you think Kanye West is the devil. I can't think of a man who's done that more in the history of music than Kanye West. And before you condemn him for his current position, I'm talking about graduation Kanye West.
Yes.
I'm talking about the Kanye West that all of us loved, right?
Exactly.
There is no bigger example of this than Kanye West.
Fact.
And so tell me you hated him. Tell me. Tell me you
I
hated
did
him.
have that
Tell me
moment.
that when he said this stuff, you were like, yay, you shouldn't be doing that. You don't have to. Nah. When he did that, you were proud of him.
Yeah.
You stood up for him and his ability to do that.
To announce,
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, that's real.
I like the fact he
Because
said,
that's
I'm the
what I'm saying.
blueprint. He said, I am the blueprint.
Absolutely.
Once the blueprint came out. knowing that other producers were involved,
Yeah.
the first person to say something was Kanye. He said, "I am the blueprint." He said that.
Absolutely.
He got on socials. He got on 106 in Park. He got on all of these platforms and said, "I'm the guy."
Absolutely.
That's,
Then he was like, I am Andy Warhol. I am Disney.
yeah,
Cuckoo.
yo.
Right.
I am. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Did that come with
interesting.
pushback?
Really?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. But did
did
it
it stop
enter
it
him
from-
in the conversation?
Right. Definitely.
But that's what I was just about to say.
Period.
That's what I was just about to
Absolutely.
say. Like, I think about the route that Kanye took versus Just Blaze. Like, it's a completely different. Just Blaze didn't speak as
Oh,
much.
Right.
No. Can we keep it all the way live?
Let's get it. That's what we
Just Blaze is a better producer
Facts.
than Kanye West.
But he
Yeah.
don't.
But when you talk about GOAT producers in the history of hip hop, do
He's not
you
in
think
that.
Just Blaze is gonna be mentioned as much as Kanye?
not.
No,
It's
not.
I wonder why.
That makes.
Come on, man.
Because Kanye took a video
Come on.
walking through the label saying, "Listen to my shit. If you
Come
don't,
on.
that's fine." And then years later, I'm gonna do a documentary of you telling me no, and then justify everything I said back then. It was me.
Yeah, I
Just Blaze wasn't in this video. Yeah, I mean, even though that Just Blaze was already there before Kanye got there, the fact that it was a kid that came in was like, dog, I got it. He came from having to eat what he killed. His mentality was like, bro, you're only going to buy my beat if I say I'm hard.
Yeah.
And then he got a cosign from somebody who they said was already hard.
I mean, you know what I mean? We be hating on Swiss Beats.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say that.
Conversation because I'm hating on his technical ability. I'm not hating. I told you this. When I saw Swiss in the studio, I was like, this is a skill I didn't even recognize, bro. Like,
Hey, nah, he had to sell himself.
Yeah. And he's one of the goats at that. And in that regard, he is an extremely great producer. His ability to deliver an idea and to give you and make you hype about an idea you don't even understand. I ain't never seen nobody do that like Swiss Beats, bro.
Hey,
All them beats sound the same, but he be selling them hoes.
hey, and that's the thing. We're in an industry, bro, where how people see you matters. We're in a statistic-based business about if I mess with you or not. And I feel like controversy is press. Controversy is conversation starters, or I would say a conversation piece. The fact that Kanye, and I'm going back to this example, went out and said, I did this, prove it. Okay, I'm going to go produce this person. I'm going to go produce this person and then drop the #1 album by myself.
Yeah.
Is this still a conversation now? The fact that I had to explain myself sent my brand through the roof. Because now, not only can you saw me do it with him and you questioned it, I'm going to go do it with somebody else. And I'm going to do it for me. And then after that, I'm going to do it for somebody else again. And then now I only work with me.
Yeah.
Now I can go rent out the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for $1 million a day. And say,
just off his
and-
name.
and just off my name alone, forget the games that are going on. Don't disturb me. What? What? Him? What? No. Kanye was up in prison in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium,
Yeah, I feel like,
locking himself
I feel like
in.
we gotta do that at FedEx Forum. We gotta
Hey,
let
look.
it out.
Hey, that
All right,
We
we say
could
this,
do
man.
that.
This is. For the last 34 minutes, I've been like, yo, where do we exit this conversation?
right.
I was thinking so.
We've been going in for
Yeah, we supposed to end this a minute ago. Big shout out J Kid for stopping by, man.
Appreciate it.
Hopping on the
Appreciate it.
conversation for sure, man. We appreciate you and your perspectives, and I personally just appreciate your energy, bro. Just in general, man. Like I
Appreciate
appreciate, your energy for the game and navigating it, your competitive nature, your ambition. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff that I want to see in people. More. I feel like people are a little bit too lax about hopping into a game that is 73 times more competitive than it was 10 years ago.
Right.
Right. And so like I don't even understand how you're not acting competitive in something that is ferociously competitive. To me, and those people will complain all day. You're the kind of person that won't. You'll understand that I got to run faster, jump higher, all these things. I better start training now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's to me, that's the nature of a true winner and a competitor.
I appreciate that, man.
Absolutely, man. So it's a blessing and an honor to have you on the show, man. Hey, one more time, man. Unapologetic World app. Go ahead and download that. Get that. It's free. It has everything about us in it. And it's I designed it myself. You guys, for those who disagreed about the credit thing, just go ahead and take Kanye out of your Spotify title. Shit off. Just go ahead and hit delete. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the rest of my cast who are here today. I want to give a big shout out to Midnight Marauder, which is a show that we're launching on the 21st at the Deep End Theater at the Museum of Science and History, aka the Pink Palace. It's a producer-focused event. Please go and get the Unapologetic World app. Look into it, get tickets, sign up for the open aux. You can learn everything about it there before we officially announce it on Monday. Man, my name is I Make Mad Beats. We are live from outer space in Unapologetic Studio, and my cast is
LJ1S.
Your boy J Kid.
Unique.
Kid Maestro.
It's the migram, dog.
only ghosts do that, bro.
Stay dangerous, stay safe.
His life has changed.
Peace.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again. Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Ah, shit. Here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
shit, here we go again.